And good to see everybody. We'll let everybody jump in here. Love this. Love our Tuesday mornings. And it's so good to see everyone. So we're going to give it a minute. I know a lot of you are here for our guest speaker, but we are all about networking. Hi, Parker. How are you? Good to see you.
Hi,
Awesome.
Jesse.
Hi, Siobhan. Hi, how are you? Awesome. So does anybody have any great drone story? Hey, Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you too. Anybody have any great drone stories to share? Or I also want to know about Drone Safety Day. You know, Drone Safety Day is coming up. It's right around the corner, coming up this Saturday. And I just saw Isaiah jump on here. I know he's got an event coming up. Isaiah, tell us a little bit about your event, your Drone Safety Day.
Yeah, sure, of course. Good morning, everybody. I'm Isaiah. I'm here in Las Vegas, and this coming Saturday, April 26th, Drone Safety Day. So we are having our event. It's a beautiful area called Calico Basin. If anyone is in the area close by, would love to attend. It's a free event. We just want to bring people together and not just go over all the drone safety and hands-on stuff, but just growing our community. So it's an open invite to anybody. And also November 7th, 8th, and 9th, we'll be having the second Las Vegas drone meetup. Last year, I brought people from across the country, and it was a great time. And this year we are throwing off-road adventures in there. So, but we'll get more information out there, and I'll put my information in the chat there. So,
Awesome. Wonderful. So, yes, everybody, put your contact information into the chat because we are about networking. And how do you network if we don't put ourselves out there, right? Jeremiah, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you again.
I know I've
Awesome.
been busy. Great to see everybody.
Wonderful. Awesome. Vic, I see you, so I'm always going to call out you out, right? You got to know about some drone events coming up, right? Drone Safety Day, Saturday. Have you heard of anything in your neighborhood or anything?
No, unfortunately. I don't have time to do it every year, so I haven't done it. But I know I've seen a lot posted in the groups about there's a couple up in New England area, down south, California. So yeah, there's some events going on, but unfortunately none that I know of here in Colorado.
So a good way to find out though, FAAsafety.gov. You could go online and there's a lot of events happening there. A lot
It's
of
at
them are
NCAT, I
maybe
think, isn't it?
online. Yes, NCAT, you can find them there as well.
Okay.
Yes. Social media, there is a lot of places to find them. And I'm sure they're out there in your area. Oh, I see a lot of people already putting information into the chat. I love that. So with that, I do want to segue over to our guest speaker. I'm super excited to have our guest speaker here with us today. We have Ted Parisot with, he is the co-founder. Oh, we're going to let one more person in. Hold on one second. So he is the co-founder of Helios Visions. It's a Chicago-based drone service company, and they are helping businesses streamline inspections, mapping, data collections with aerial technology, right? We're
Yep.
going to take a look inside the tools and trends transforming how we fly inspections. And one of the great things that I'm super excited about is how we can stay compliant. So, Ted, I'm going to segue over to you. I will make you spotlight for everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to see everyone and look forward to our discussion. Go
Awesome,
ahead
awesome.
and
So I know you have a slide deck. Tell us, before we slide over, tell us a little bit more about you and your journey, and then about the slide deck. We can kick that off as well.
sure. Yeah, so started in the drone industry about 10 years ago, pre-Part 107. So we're some of the lucky ones to work through the 333. And then when the Part 107 came along, we were just ready to hit the ground running. And it's really been incredible just seeing the evolution of the industry from just only 10 years till today. Lots of stuff happening, and it seems like technology and uses just continue to accelerate. So very excited to see where everything's going to continue to go, and look forward to everyone's thoughts and comments, what they're thinking the industry is going to do as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So really quick, like, I know you have a presentation. Do you want to answer the questions as they come into our chat, or would you like to do it at the end?
Sure. Yeah, I would love discussion during the chat. Some of it's set up really to sort of start the conversation around some of these things and get people's feedback and their thoughts on these technologies and these use cases.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, I know you have a slide deck if you want to segue over.
All right. Yep. So let's see here. Let me share this window here. Can everybody see that?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right. So just a little bit about Helios Visions. So we're an advanced drone services company. We specialize in 3D visualizations and inspections for commercial real estate, infrastructure, construction, engineering. We want to deliver high impact visuals and data to help our clients build smarter, market better, and operate more efficiently. So I'll go a little bit into some of the inspection work that we do. So as you all may know or may not know, drones are used very often for aerial inspections. It's just the use has increased a ton over the last few years with the number of cities having facade inspection ordinances. Drones are really replacing a lot of those inspections or supplementing those inspections, and being able to cover the entire building as opposed to maybe spot inspections or only capturing a small part of the building using traditional methods. So I'll go do a quick video here of just a short view of what a drone-based facade inspection would look like. This is a building here in Chicago. This was a few years ago. That's the M300 taking off there, and we stay pretty close to the building, and we capture images with enough overlap to create a 3D model. So in this case, we're using photogrammetry to merge all this together, but basically covering the entirety of the building. And then those images are used to create a large 3D model, orthomosaics, and engineers who use that to mark up the building and plan for repairs. Here's an example of this in a software called GNext. We're able to merge all those images into a large 3D model and then use that model to navigate the images to check conditions, make annotations, measurements, etc. So an easy way to assess the building without having to be on a swing stage or be on rope access, lifts, things like that. And so here's another example of drone inspection data of some buildings. You can see this is just a large ortho image. And being able to capture this in a pretty short period of time.
So Ted, we already have questions coming into our chat.
Yeah.
We love
Great.
questions. And the
Yes.
first one out of the gate there is, what is your overlap for these flights?
We're usually around 80-80, around, maybe 75-75, but around 80-80 for most of these inspections.
A good amount of overlap for the detail that you're trying to collect.
Absolutely, yeah. And so a lot of these are flown manually. You can see here it's a couple annotations marking up some areas of interest. Most of these are flown manually. We'll talk a bit more about some of the more autonomous missions, but we've flown most of these manually just to have total control of the drone, and the technology just wasn't quite there yet when these were being created. Technology has come a long way with GPS denied drones and other RTK technology and other positioning technologies to allow us to fly in areas that in the past, in the recent past, really weren't able to capture or fly in those areas. Let's see, let's scoot over to, it's another example. this turned into a 3D model. Scoot over to, this is a pacing through the images here. You can see as it follows along in the 3D model. So there's just some examples of drones being used for these high-rise facade inspections. Here you'll see some of where the camera positions were at and some of the flight lines. And here's another example of it's the Joliet prison. They're actually turning this old prison into a tourist attraction, and engineers, you can see where the roof is collapsed in here, so it's an unsafe area. So we're able to use drones to get into those areas safely, capture some data for them to take a look at the structural integrity of the building, and aid in the repairs. So they're quite a far along on this project. This is another one of the buildings on the property.
So one of the questions that also came up in our chat is, are you using AI to identify the anomalies during your inspections?
Yes, yeah, and we'll get to that here in a little bit as well and show you some examples of that.
All right.
But absolutely, that's come a long way as well.
And then, and you may be getting to this as well as far as your flight planning and all this, but what about orbits? Are you doing orbits as well? Look at me. So all these questions coming in already. I love it.
No, this is great. Yeah, it depends on the project. But yes, we're doing orbits. We're doing crosshatch, a number of different flight types to capture the data that we need. And so in the past, we've done just manual flight planning without the 3D features that we have access to now. So I believe this was in Drone Link, this image here. But 3D flight planning is going to allow for automated repeatable flights, which is great. So we can really start matching up change detection in ways that were maybe a bit more challenging with the manual methods. This enhances communication just of what is going to be covered on the building. It gives an idea to the pilot the flight lines that they'll be flying, and it ensures precise spatial resolutions and altitudes and distances. So here's an example of the one for the Pendry Hotel that we had just seen earlier. So you see some orbits around the top spire there. And then this is an example of the new Matrice 4E. The flight planning in there is pretty incredible as well. We're still testing the actual execution of the flight in some of these tight corridors, like buildings that are close to each other. But it's a really great tool for estimating times, number of images, and a lot of that stuff as well that we need to know before we're conducting the mission. So this is just a sample first one that we've done with the M4E in terms of the advanced 3D scan or advanced 3D capture, I believe it's called, of a small baseball field here in Chicago. You can see that it does a pre-flight to identify the structure, and then it'll be able to go in and use that data to do a more precise scan of the building. You can see some of the images being captured there. And then just a small example of the output here. You can see there's a couple holes in some of the metal and some other manual shots may be required. This here is actually not even really part of the focus, but it was actually pretty impressive what it was able to capture in terms of the photogrammetry processing. Oops, sorry, that's off. And then we'll talk a little bit about LiDAR. So LiDAR on drones, very exciting stuff. A lot of it has been more based on capturing ground. We've also started testing LiDAR on buildings, particularly glass buildings. This is a pretty iconic building in Chicago, and this was shot with the L2. So there was some time there that we needed to calibrate, but it was we had a lot more flight time between calibrations than on the L1, and so this building was just about the size that we were able to capture what we needed to capture in between calibrations.
So we do
This
have a couple
here,
more questions if you want
yeah,
to address them. All righty.
yeah,
Okay.
please.
Do you use the Matrice series drones, or can you use something like the Mavic 3 Enterprise series to trigger spaces? Tougher, sorry. Oh, there we go. So when you're in those tight spaces, are you able to use the Mavic 3 Enterprise?
We are using the Mavic 4 for that. The Mavic 3 has pretty okay obstacle avoidance in those conditions, but the M4 certainly has better visual navigation. And now they have an attachment, a LiDAR attachment on that drone, which we have yet to test, but in theory, it's supposed to identify wires and things like that. I think it's made for substation inspections. And so we do intend on using that device for the building inspections to give us better navigation in those tight areas.
And can you tell us if that's a mechanical shutter?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, the M4E is made for mapping and photogrammetry and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Charles had said, are you seeing the size get smaller and the prices dropping with LiDAR?
100%. Yeah, this has really
Yeah.
allowed us. I agree 100%. It's really great to see. We've been waiting a long time for this. In the past, I think, we've had like the Regal devices and things, which some were as large as a table, it seemed. And now these things are shrinking down. So not only we're able to carry it on drones that are not as large, but also the price point is a lot more affordable as well. So projects that it was once maybe not suited for because of the cost, we're now able to start using LiDAR on projects that uh, uh, that that are not as large of a project.
Both good news.
Yes, yes. No, it's great to see things are moving fast. So this here is a test. This was using the L1 a number of years ago, and so it's a little noisy, but for the size of this structure and the data we were able to capture in this test flight, we were pretty impressed with the LiDAR on the drone to capture something of this scale. Certainly other tools can be used to capture this stuff, but yeah, you can see here a little gap here, and some of that was just the flight itself. But pretty impressive with what we're able to do now with some of these LiDAR sensors.
That is awesome.
Let's see here. Next. There's just a quick one. This is just, it was a top-down shot using LiDAR on a job site. This is also the L1. After using the L2, there's quite a difference in this. There was no oblique shot here or any side angles, so you'll see a little missing data in the crane and some of the other areas. But to capture large scale sites like this very quickly is very impressive. Get some great stockpile measurements using the LiDAR. And then here is just a screen recording of a mapping mission we did here in our neighborhood. And so just really cool to see the heads up view of this. You've got the bottom left here, you've got the route. And then on the right here, we've got the FPV view. So we'll switch over to that here in a little bit. But you can see the LiDAR capturing the data as we go. But yeah, not a lot of post-processing required for the LiDAR data as compared to photogrammetry, which is also nice. I mean, certainly different use cases in a number of ways. But yeah, you'll see here, it's the RGB view. Scoot us over to the end here and we'll see a bit of the final. So right after landing, we're able to see, let's see here. Right after landing, we're able to see what was captured, verify. And so just a nice feature. Zoom out here. And then, yeah, going to jump to a bit of the AI analysis of drone data. And so with the building inspections, and this in particular is a dam inspection, this is all built in photogrammetry or using photogrammetry. You can see a number of different conditions just with the, with your eye. But with AI, it's going to start labeling different conditions, cracks, spalling, etc. And then this also getting bounced out to CAD, which is extremely helpful as well.
So when you're talking about the AI aspect of the software, is that portions that you've trained it to identify, or has that been a component of the software already that's already built in?
Yep, that's part of the software. We certainly can create custom models, but there's definitely becoming a standard of conditions. Cracking, obviously, exposed rebar, a number of them have just really become standard conditions. So those models are getting trained and just getting better and better as we go.
Oh, we love technology.
Yeah, AI is touching every part of this, from the flight navigation to the post-processing. It's really incredible to see the application evolve over time.
So once you have your footage and this data that you have collected, how about that processing side of it? What type of equipment are you having to use? Because I know LiDAR is really big and bulky. What type of equipment are you using in that aspect?
Yeah, it's a big workstation computer, basically a gaming computer, large graphics cards, multiple graphics cards. So the in-house workstation is pretty heavy duty. We do offload a lot of this stuff to the cloud processing software. So it depends on the project, it depends on the client, on which software or which process we'll end up using. But yeah, lots of storage and lots of processing power.
Awesome. Awesome. Couple more questions in our chat if you want to take those. All right.
Yeah.
We've got, can the AI identify new changes since the last model?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the beauty of some of this stuff too, is really starting to see the change detection over time. So there's certainly a ton of value in a single flight and just getting conditions from that. But the real value starts to come when you're doing multiple flights and start identifying this change over time. So we can, in theory, the engineers may think that a certain crack will grow at a certain rate. They may be right, or they may be off a little bit. And so the change detection can really capture that in a way that if the AI identifies that this particular crack has grown more than they expected, they're able to get ahead of this stuff and make decisions that will save them time and money in the long run, as opposed
That's a
to,
selling point.
yeah, big time.
Yeah, yeah, right there. Do you have to go back through and double check any of that processing from the AI side of things?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, it's really just a co-pilot, as they say, with a lot of this stuff. We really can't fully rely on it, and it's really an assistant to help speed up the process of annotating these things. So there's certainly going to be some false positives, false negatives, but I think that's going to start, you know, getting better and better over time.
Awesome. Awesome. There's a question in our chat. What software is on the screen right now?
This one, I think this is CAD here. I don't know what version, but this was, yeah, this was processed in GNext and then exported to a CAD DXF file.
Awesome. All righty. One more question in our chat. Oh, he said thank you.
No problem.
And then one more question in our chat. And are you doing pre and post disaster? Excellent use case.
Yeah, not yet. Certainly, certainly open to it, and have the capabilities, and definitely a great use for that type of stuff. We would visit with a number of different organizations talking about just pre-mapping and data collection before disasters happened was big for insurance. A number of other folks uses. So not only just after the disaster, but pre-disaster as well.
So I know we've had a lot of questions coming up into our chat, but I want to take a minute really quick, like just to thank all the viewers that are on social media platform as well. And if questions are coming in from that social media, we aren't able to see them. So we will definitely address those later and get back to you, because we do want to hear your questions and answer those as well. So just a quick note there before we segue on. Thank you, Ted, for that moment. Yep. I could share.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to have everybody here.
Awesome.
All right. And so now I'm going to jump into a little bit of stuff that is, newer in our world. Some of the emerging stuff certainly being used, but Gaussian splatting, it's something that we've talked about quite a bit in our organization and over the last year or two. But it's fairly new, and it's, it processes 3D visualizations a little better than photogrammetry on a number of different surfaces. So particularly glass and fine details like trees and wires and things. So we're very excited about that from a 3D visualization standpoint. So let me show you some examples of that we've captured recently. So, a lot of these are large scale structures with a lot of fine details. This one in particular, a lot of glass, a lot of trees and wires and poles, flag poles, telephone poles, light poles. And as you can see, the resolution, the quality is pretty incredible, especially the surrounding area where, photogrammetry, you'd probably chop a lot of that stuff off, or you'd need a lot more data to render those areas. And then, with the 3D visualization too, we can create a lot of different camera movements that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do with the drone, perhaps, say, over roads and people and different things that we can create these camera movements that in post. Jump to another example here. This here is actually a 4D. I think it's like basically, I think they're changing kind of the language around the 4D in the Gaussian splat world, but this is a time lapse of multiple Gaussian splats over the course of a few months, and we're able to line these up. And this tool here is called Gauszilla, and this also has some other AI enabled elements as well. But we're able to capture, process, and merge these all together in a relatively short period of time compared to other photogrammetry methods.
So a question in our chat came up again, a couple more. Good time to ask them if it's okay.
Yep.
With the new technology, what is the cost compared to previous programs?
Let's see. So there are definitely free open source tools for Gaussian splat processing, which is awesome. There are a number of web viewers as well. And so the cost for this, Sorry, the slide keeps going off. The cost for this has definitely dropped, and it's a lot easier for people to get involved in this than maybe photogrammetry as well, just from a capture standpoint and from a software standpoint.
For some people that may not be familiar with the Gaussian splatting, can you explain what that is?
Yes, so it's using AI to create 3D representations of the area that you captured. So we are typically using video on these actually. So we're flying video, we're extracting images and processing that into the 3D models. We also use images, but video really covers a lot of the area that we need.
Awesome, awesome. So I think you're about to share this in the future here on your slide deck, but do you use any VR viewing technology?
We don't, but I mean, yeah, Unity and a number of other gaming tools I think are being used. I personally haven't used a lot of the headset stuff, but it definitely works within those environments.
Okay, awesome. What is the accuracy of the measurements in this perspective?
Yeah, so early on, this was just a visual representation, a pretty picture, essentially. Now there's techniques that people are pioneering to actually use control points and actually have accurate visualizations of the Gaussian splats, which is exciting. Because, you know, pretty picture is a pretty picture, but if we can pull accurate data from these, even better. So I think there's a number of tools out there now too that are combining LiDAR and the Gaussian splat technology. So we're sort of skipping the photogrammetry piece for the geometries and basically using a LiDAR point cloud and then texturing it with the Gaussian splat, which is very exciting as well.
Awesome. Good questions in the chat. I love this. Keep the questions coming. John asked the next one, which was definitely one of my questions as well. Tell us a little bit about your workflow as far as like using the software from the UAV to the client deliverable. If you could share a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few different ways to go about it depending what you're trying to do. So a lot of times we'll end up with the final output just being a video, an animated video, but also you can view these in web viewers. So we start with the data collection. Similar to photogrammetry, you do need to overlap and need to cover, you know, a sufficient amount of area of the subject. And then we bring that data into, so if it's a video, we'll extract the frames and or bring it into a software called PostShot is one of them we use often. And I believe there's a frame extractor in there. And then that's processed. And then we'll bring that into a web viewer and or we'll do animations within PostShot. Bring it into Godzilla is another tool for viewing. Super Splat, I think, is the name of another one. I think that's the open source viewer. Pretty cool. And let's see. Trying to think of any other ones, but yeah, there's a few open source tools out there. So what's that?
I should have been writing those down. I was trying to keep up with you and find their links, but
yeah, we'll drop some links in the chat a little later and get everybody caught up on some of those, but definitely some cool tools to explore. More and more coming out. I know that they're bringing these in again into like Unreal Engine and different gaming tools to merge this data with other architectural renderings. So I'll show you an example here of something that we did. Let's see here. So here's just the example of the splat itself. It's a building in Fulton Market. You see the nice reflections. It's capturing the pool. They're seeing some light poles, etc. And so what we did was we brought in this into Autodesk software. And my partner ended up dropping in this building here in the middle is just a 3D rendering. And so we're able to just show that we're able to bring in Gaussian splats into these tools. And the really cool part is you can see the reflection of the Gaussian splat building on the rendered building. So that's a very cool advance that we've been able to work with, that we're very excited about.
Wow. Very impressive.
All right. So anything about Gaussian splats, we'll move into drone in a box stuff. So some more cool advancements in the world of automation and waivers and all sorts of cool things. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the drone in a box. They've been around for a little while. They just keep getting better and better. I think the newest Doc 3 version can go on a vehicle and has a bunch of other really cool features. But, you know, used in construction, solar field inspections, mining operations, security for college campuses, security for logistics centers and warehouses. But it really allows for 24/7 monitoring of these assets. So in order to use this, you need to have FAA waivers. So there's a couple different beyond visual line of sight waivers. You can either get one with a VO or without a VO. And then I believe the FAA has a new controlled access construction site shielding waiver for these. That is essentially, my understanding is that as long as it's within a contained area and it's not over 200 feet, you can get this waiver without a VO, which is very exciting as well. So, you know, pre-Part 108, I guess, but it certainly seems like there's some advancements happening in that respect.
I see Vic nodding his head yes.
Great, great. Yes, yeah, no, exciting stuff. It's really cool. I'd like to get others' feedback on, you know, their experience or what their thoughts are on some of the boxes and all that. So. But yeah, the idea of being able to manage a number of boxes, you know, and not having to worry about your location and managing boxes from afar is just a very exciting thing. So there's a few different ones out there, more than a few, I guess. So, but there's some options from different manufacturers, different capabilities, different sizes. I know when the first ones came out, they were as big as a bus, maybe. And now we've got them that are a little bit smaller that, you know, I think it only takes like 1 or 2 people to carry these things.
So can you kind of share a little bit about what is exactly a drone in a box? What is it?
Yeah, so I mean, it's essentially an IoT device, right? So it's the technology that is the box that holds the drone itself, so it protects it from weather, it charges it, it's the data transfer mechanism as well, and then that data goes into software, so it can be sent to a lot of different places. And I guess there's a lot of custom development that can be done on these things. We're still exploring all of that, but it's very exciting.
Awesome. Awesome. If anybody has any other questions about the drone in a box, feel free to put them into our chat as well. Awesome.
Okay, and then let's see. Well, yeah, here's just a quick view of what it looks like opening up. Pretty cool. And then something I just became aware of, let's see, is so this is an AI box, and pardon me because I'm not fully tuned in on this thing, but my understanding is it's on edge AI algorithms that will keep the AI off the cloud, essentially, right? So it's like on edge, and you can do AI detections. I'll just play the video so you can see it a little bit here. So it's a small box. You can load in custom models. But just the fact that we're moving from post-processing AI to doing AI on the edge is an extremely awesome advancement. And I'd imagine more and more of this stuff will be coming out, if not already out. And so a lot of this stuff has to do with security and keeping that data offline, but also just being able to using it immediately. So again, not having to post-process So this is even loaded into the controller itself. So pretty cool stuff. Plugs right into the dock. So yeah, very cool. Cool advancement in the AI world.
Yes. So we have a couple more comments in our chat. And John had asked, what was the construction waiver? And and I'm sure Vic will know more than I do, but category 3 drones are the drones that can be flown over people within a closed or restricted access. And so you would be able to go through and get a waiver or authorization for that. You file that. And then another question that came up. What was that thing on the belt loop?
That was that was the AI box itself. I don't really understand the on person part of it. Maybe there's some Wi-Fi connection or something like that, but definitely you'll need to look more into that one.
Awesome. I love the comments and questions in our chat. Keep them going, although we only have 20 minutes left. Awesome.
Cool. So yeah, next sort of big thing that I think is growing at a rapid pace is drone cleaning, or using drones for cleaning buildings, cleaning solar panels, all sorts of stuff. So, definitely emerging market. The people are getting used to buildings, drones for building inspections, and now it took them a little bit to understand if you're not in this world, but drone cleaning, pretty straightforward, right? Everybody can understand what drone cleaning ends up being, but there's just so many applications for this, just very exciting. Here's a couple of videos of that. So right now, I think most of them can go to about, I don't know, 15 or 20 stories, I believe. I heard some folks are using lifts to get them a little more altitude. But I know that there's some advancements happening where they're looking at 20 to 50-story buildings here at some point. So that'd be very exciting to capture a lot more assets that way. But similar with the facade inspections using drones, this is just a lot faster and safer than their traditional ways of doing this.
And I'm hearing more and more about the cleaning. You see it happening quite a bit now. And in our chat, we also have, Vic did put actually a link in there for the category 3, the regs in there. And then another question, wondering the impact of your business if DJI drones become on the covered list and no new drones are allowed to be brought into the country at some point.
Yeah, that's the big conversation we're having as an industry, I think. And so, yeah, I mean, we've been preparing for a number of years, it seems like at this point. So, buying different brand drones is one way that we're, planning for that. Although we did just purchase the M4E, which we're very excited about. So hopefully we can still keep using that one if things do change. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to wait to see what happens. Definitely like to get others' feedback on that too, because I think, as a group, we want to keep our industry going, and whatever that looks like, hopefully we can figure it out.
There you go. Put your feedback into the chat. I want to hear from you.
Any ideas?
Yes. Awesome.
Cool.
All
right. And then, the next one here is, so, managing FAA compliance is a challenge for many operators, right? So we've got airspace that we're dealing with, different waivers that are required for different operations. Rules are changing quickly. Sometimes you just find out when you're trying to contact the FAA and you find out that way, or you'll find out in the news. And, just keeping up with this stuff is a challenge in itself, but we must remain compliant. And we believe that there may be a better way to manage compliance and document that compliance, because documentation, I think, is very important, especially in our world today, where things are just getting more advanced. And you really want to be able to defend your operations. And so, you know, we have to go to a number of different places to manage our mission, different web portals and different tools, different softwares. And so what we're building is an AI-powered Part 107 compliance copilot, and we want your input. Is this something that you think is needed? Do you think would be helpful? This is going to be trained on different FAA documentation, waivers, compliance workflows. It's designed to help pilots, enterprise teams, just to simplify, verify, and document their compliance with Part 107 regulations for every mission. We're currently in development, and we just want to hear from you. Is this a challenge that you face? Would a tool like this help you or your team? What would make this tool most useful to you?
All right, so go ahead. Will this be a helpful tool to you? Having ways to be compliant, things that just pop up and remind you of certain things. Well, we've already got some yes into our chat going on.
Nice.
And then trying to keep up with things. Yes, most definitely. Getting a little bit more feedback. It's coming in so fast, I'm having a hard time scrolling at this point. One of the things that I did see in here that I think Vic had posted was backing up to the 107.29. Why do we still need a daylight waiver? And there are, and Vic knows this, I'm sure he's putting this out to everyone, but there are still certain circumstances that might require, like maybe you need to turn off the anti-collision lights or something. You would have to get authorization for that. So there's opportunities that you would still need to do that. A lot of answering your question for feedback. There's a lot of people that would say, yes, definitely that tool would be very useful. Most definitely. John Wetzel put in there AI trust, but verify. I like that. A little more comments coming back. Also would be more use of ADS-B only in at 200 feet and below. Interesting. There's a concept I hadn't thought about. And got a couple more yeses in there that they would love to have that. DFR waiver just changed and went from 11 months to 1 week. Awesome. Awesome news right there. We love that.
Nice.
So a lot of good comments coming in. Another one just came in about if there was a way to centralize flight histories. That includes the pre-flight planning plans, the checklist, checking it off, the flight abbreviations, and flight logs. So having a way to go through that. Sheila said, do you use air data? Pro version has many of these. So it's another option, a little bit different though.
Yeah, air data is a great tool for flight logs and checklists and things like that. Equipment maintenance, battery maintenance, great tool.
Awesome. Vic, you're welcome to, by the way, open up your mics. I'm reading everything, but people are able to open your mics as well.
I get it. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Vic.
No, Ted, I was wondering, I noticed you do have your 107.29. Do you need that because you're turning off your strobe at night when you're collecting data? I was just wondering that. I kind of asked a very general question, so that was not very accurate.
That was from a long time ago. So that was that was from a while ago. So it's not for anything currently.
Got it. I was just wondering.
Yep.
Oh, and I answered the general question. I took that and ran, right?
Yeah, I know why you need one generally, but I was wondering why Ted did. I didn't ask the question right. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were just putting it out to everyone. So, Charles had asked about really hoping that Part 108 BVLOS draft rule is issued soon. Hopefully, this will eliminate a lot of the waivers needed for BVLOS. Yes, aren't we all counting on that? Fantastic. And
Well, yeah, also hearing about all the potential local ordinances or rules that may be happening around the country. I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. And, you know, it's going to become potentially even more of a challenge than it already is. So even just with the New York, you know, takeoff landing permit and different things that you need, there is a little insight of, you know, what may be to come in other areas. So I don't know if anybody else has the other insight on that, but it definitely interesting piece of news that we need to keep an eye on.
yes, yes. My go-to is always Vic. He keeps me well informed.
Yes, yes.
The scary thing is it'll create a patchwork quilt across the country, which will be different from every state or even potentially every city that you go into. Now you're going to have, and you're going to see what the big problem I see is fees. Is they're going to look at this as one money-making thing of saying, now, if you want to deliver, if you want to do cleaning buildings, if you want to do, there's a cost.
Yep.
Exactly, Charles. Yes, yes. And all right. So I know we only have a few minutes left. And so I just want to, I'm not sure where you're at in your slide deck, if you wanted to get a little more feedback.
Yeah,
Do
we're
you
all set.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, do you mind if I share some of your contact information into our chat?
Please do. Yeah, I would love to connect with everyone today and
Okay. All righty.
keep the
I will.
conversation going.
Yes, let's keep this conversation going because it has been great. I'm going to remove you from Spotlight for everybody. And I put in our chat here. There it goes. His contact information, ways to reach out to not only Ted direct through LinkedIn, but also the company LinkedIn, so you can gather a little bit more information that way as well. Ted, we thank you. We thank you so much for sharing all this great information. Love seeing what you're doing. Like Sheila said in our chat, I could just sit there and watch it forever. I absolutely love it. And so thank you very, very much. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And sharing with us. Yes, I see Sharon opened up her mic there. So I
Thanks,
want to
Ted.
thank everyone.
Thanks,
I want to
Sharon.
thank
Good to
everyone
see you.
for joining us. Yes. And we will see you next Tuesday, everyone, same time, and looking forward to
Vic
it.
has something
One
to
quick
say.
comment.
Oh, we
One
love
quick
it.
comment before we
Okay.
turn off or time or go away. We're hearing a lot of people upset about the new Lee bill or not Lee, sorry. Mike Lee from Utah. About taking the first 200 feet away from the FAA and giving it to states. That is not something we really need to worry too much about. We need to watch it, but we don't need to worry about it too much. It's his fifth
Good.
time trying to get this through, and he has yet to get it out of committee, and he has yet to have any co-sponsors, except for the very first one back in 2017, but that doesn't count. So I put a video on the DSPA YouTube channel. I'm not trying to, push it out, but if anybody has any questions about the Lee bill, I think it's 1279, Senate Bill 1279. It's one of those things like, yeah, we should probably watch it, but we don't need to go out and, as I say in the video, buy a big old bottle of Pepto-Bismol and start chugging it. So
Awesome.
just
By
want to
any
share that
chance-
real quick since
Okay,
Ted brought up local.
Yes, it was perfect.
Appreciate that.
Do you by any chance have the link so we could watch it?
Yeah, I can find it real quick.
We would appreciate it.
I wasn't prepared.
I know. Well, see, open
Sorry.
up your mic. We like it.
You know me.
But this is where we learn. We gain that knowledge. We network. We hear things. And definitely want to save the chat because there has been a lot of great information in there today. If you're not familiar
All
with
right,
how
back
to
over
save the chat, there are 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. There it is. Look at there. Craig already put it in there. Nice. So did Vic. Now you got it. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Greg.
then you can save the chat will be the heading in there. And normally it goes under your documents file onto your computer. So you'll be able to come back and access all this knowledge that we gained today. So thank you, everybody. All right. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, all.
Thank you for sharing.
Appreciate
And
it.
we will see everybody next week. All right. Bye.
See you next week. Bye now.